I never believed in ghost stories. Not until I worked the night shift at St. Mary's Hospital. In retrospect, the old building with its creaking floors and flickering lights was the perfect setting for a horror story. But for me, it became more than a story. It was my first week on the job working as a nurse. The hospital was understaffed and I often found myself alone, especially during the graveyard shift. My first few nights were uneventful, albeit eerie due to the silence that enveloped the hallways. But then things changed. It started with a call bell ringing from a room at the end of the corridor. I checked the monitor. Room 3113. The odd part? Room 313 had been unoccupied for years. A storage space for old equipment. I assumed it was a technical glitch, but the ringing persisted. Gathering my courage, I decided to check it out. The hallway to room 313 seemed longer than usual, each step echoing ominously. As I approached, the ringing stopped abruptly. The room was as expected, dusty, filled with old unused medical apparatus. I sighed, attributing the incident to my overactive imagination, and turned to leave. That's when I saw her. A figure, draped in a hospital gown, standing at the other end of the room, her back to me. "Ma'am?" I called out, surprised. There was no response. I stepped closer, reaching out to her. As my hand brushed her shoulder, she turned, revealing a face devoid of features. Just smooth skin where eyes, nose, and mouth should be. I stumbled back, my heart racing. She, or it, began to move towards me, her movements unnatural and jerky. I ran, not looking back, until I reached the safety of the nurse's station. Gasping for breath, I tried to rationalize what I had seen. A trick of the light? A figment of my tired mind? But the incidents didn't stop there. Every night something new happened. Doors would slam shut, the sound of footsteps followed me, and once a cold hand grasped mine in a supposedly empty room. The most terrifying incident was when the power went out. I was plunged into darkness, the backup generators failing. In the pitch black, I heard whispers, unintelligible but distinctly human, all around me. I mustered the courage to use my phone's flashlight, and the moment I turned it on, the whispers stopped. The corridors were empty, but the feeling of being watched never left me. I did some research into the hospital's history and discovered a chilling past. St. Mary's had been built over a century ago, and there had been several unexplained deaths and disappearances within its walls. One particular story stood out, about a patient in room 313 who vanished, leaving behind a room splattered with unidentifiable blood. The room was sealed off afterward, becoming a storehouse for forgotten equipment. Armed with this knowledge, my shifts became a test of nerves. I couldn't quit. I needed the job. So I endured, counting down the hours until sunrise, when the shadows receded and the hospital returned to its mundane self. On my last night, I decided to confront my fear. I went to room 313, a camera in my hand, determined to document whatever I saw. As I entered, the temperature dropped, my breath turning to mist. The room was silent, the oppressive atmosphere almost tangible. I saw her again, the featureless woman standing in the center of the room. This time I didn't run. I raised my camera, and as the flash illuminated the room, she vanished. But the camera captured something. A blurred figure, almost human, with a twisted, mocking semblance of a smile where a face should be. I left St. Mary's Hospital after that night, vowing never to return. The photo remains with me, a haunting reminder of the inexplicable horrors that lurk in the shadows of that place. Some nights when the world is quiet, I can still hear the faint ringing of a bell from a room that shouldn't exist. I hope you liked tonight's creepy stories. If you enjoyed this video or if you want more, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more weekly horror stories that'll send chills down your spine. Good night, if you dare.